everyone, and welcome back to my paranormal channel. Today we are discussing 5 of my favorite Bigfoot videos. Number 1, a white Bigfoot. This video is really interesting, so let's take a look. So as you can see, this is really unique footage. The first thing you'll notice is that this Bigfoot has white fur. And some people theorize that this is a Bigfoot with albinism, which is a common occurrence in nature. Lots of creatures, including humans, have this condition. So if Bigfoot is real, there's a good chance that some of these creatures have this condition. So one thing I noticed when I look at this image of this white Bigfoot, I notice kind of the shape of the face. So it has a very pronounced brow ridge, which is a common feature that people claim that Bigfoot has. It also has triangle-shaped eyes, which is another feature that Bigfoot experts claim Bigfoots have. And then also kind of like this cone-shaped head, which is another rumored sign of a Bigfoot. So even if this is a fake, which I highly doubt it is because I did include it in this video, so I believe that these videos are real, that if this was a fake, they would have had to do a lot of research on what paranormal experts and Bigfoot experts say a Bigfoot looks like. This, it doesn't look like, any other primate. It has some features of primates, but it has the features that line up, like the brow ridge, the shape of the head, the triangle-shaped eyes. So these are all features that are commonly accepted in the Bigfoot community of what a Bigfoot looks like. To this day, I believe this is like the only video that I've seen that shows a Bigfoot face full on in clear view. You can see it for a second or two, and when it's enough to get a screenshot and look at the photo in detail. And it's a pretty unique thing, and if somebody was going to fake a Bigfoot video, I don't know if their first thought would be to put all this detail into the face and then also, make it a white Bigfoot so it's unique. So there's a lot of things here that if it was fake, just seems like an extra step, and I don't know if somebody who was just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame and get attention on the internet, if they would really put this much effort and detail into it, and if they would really do all their research to create such a high quality fake. So in that reason, it's balance of probabilities here. I don't think it's fake, and that's why I included it in this video, because it's just too detailed and fits exactly what people say Bigfoot looks like for it to be a fake. Next we have the skunk ape. So I wanted to include this one, not because the video is very interesting, but I was able to find a ton of information on this video, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. And that video is of a skunk ape, which a skunk ape is supposed to be the version of Bigfoot that lives in the southern United States around the Mississippi area. Very similar to a Bigfoot, but the only real difference is that apparently they smell awful, and that's because they've been hanging out in the swamps, so they smell really gross, apparently, giving them the name Skunk Ape. Now, this footage was taken in July of 2000 by Dave Shilley, and apparently after seeing a skunk ape as a child, he made it his life's mission to capture the skunk ape on video and on camera. So essentially, according to an article from the Smithsonian magazine, which I got most of my information from, they stated that he had built this kind of area to look over the swamp so he could, you know, record a video of a Bigfoot. Now, according to Shilley, this is in the middle of the swamp, and this is about a foot deep of water. So this creature is running very fast in a foot of water. So this would mean that this creature is taller than an average human and more muscular. Now, according to the Smithsonian magazine, it states that the reason that this video can't be used as proof that skunk ape or Bigfoot is a species is because, according to biologists, there needs to be a dead body found in order for these biologists and researchers to study the dead body. There have been cryptids that have later become species. For example, the giant squid and the Komodo dragon were believed to be cryptids because no one was able to find a body of them until the 20th century. Now, a lot of skeptics believe that if Bigfoot was real, then we would have discovered a body already. But one thing that Shilley mentions, and that I believe too, is, well, Shilley mentions that bodies and things decompose really fast in the swamp. And I know this for a fact. I studied anthropology in university, which is basically I say the study of humans. So I studied a lot about bones and decomposition and mummies and things like that. And mummies tend to do better, well, they only really exist in dry environments. That's why Egypt has so many mummies. In swamps, it is very wet, so it decomposes bone and other materials very, very quickly. There's only very certain circumstances that you get things like bog mummies, but those is when there is like no oxygen exposed to these remains at all. And the other tip that Shilley didn't mention, but I think is possible, is that Bigfoots could bury their dead like humans. Now, that's a very human trait to bury their dead. I think the Neanderthals also buried their dead. Now, what makes this video compelling and why I decided to share it with you is that I have some other images of Bigfoot from around the same area. For example, I have an image here that in 1997, a tour bus of around 30 to 40 people all saw this skunk ape, and one of them managed to capture this image. So, but also, if you think about it, 30 to 40 people claim to all see this. They all saw the same thing, and there's a, you know, an image of this. So I think that adds validity to this sighting. So this image that you see here is a classic image of a skunk ape. This is one of the most famous images of Bigfoot and the skunk ape out there. And as you can see, it has long black fur. It has a little bit of like gray fur around its face, but it definitely has some very ape-like characteristics. Now, this is what experts believe is going on with this photo. So many biologists and other researchers believe that images like this are actually other primates such as orangutans. According to the article, after seeing this image, Lauren Coleman, an author and cryptozoologist enthusiast, analyzed the creature's anatomy and agreed with the orangutan hypothesis, as did Canadian Wildlife Service biologist Tony Schumer. Although I would have to agree, it does very much look like an orangutan, and even though orangutans are some of my favorite primates, I think I would have to say they are my favorite primates. I don't know if this, you know, is an orangutan. What researchers are theorizing is that it's an escaped orangutans that are wandering the woods and the swamps of Mississippi. And this does make sense because there is zoos that are in the area, so one could have escaped the zoos. Or the more common theory that these researchers state, what could be happening is people have orangutans and other primates as pets illegally, and when hurricanes strike these areas, the orangutans, the other primates, get out into the wilderness and get lost. So a typical orangutan is 4 to 5 feet according to the internet, according to SeaWorld.com or SeaWorld.org. Creature is bigger than a human, much, much taller. So that's making me a little suspicious of this being an orangutan. I'm not necessarily saying that it isn't an orangutan, but if somebody wants to disprove me in the comments, if you're a scientist and you want to make your own video on this, I will watch it. And I would love to see you debunk these footages and what you have to say. Now this video made me very perplexed because Bigfoot doesn't even seem to notice that someone is standing there. My first thought was, why is it walking so slow? But if you think about the last video that I talked about with the skunk ape was walking very similarly until there's a moment in the previous video where he starts to run, and we theorize that he saw that he was being watched and started to run. So this could be an instance where the Bigfoot in this video didn't even notice it was being watched, which is definitely possible.
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, he's going back up the road, come down the road. Yeah, look at that. Sure have. Oh, there he goes. Jesus.
Now, like I said, if Bigfoots are somehow related to humans and have similar psychology to humans, at least, you know, a similar level to humans and, let's say, chimpanzees or like bonobos, you know, we all know humans that kind of get lost in their own little world and don't really notice when people are looking at them. And by people, I mean me. I'd be one of those people that would just be walking around, wouldn't even notice that people are staring at me. That's just who I am. So maybe Bigfoots are like that too. There is some, you know, oblivious Bigfoots out there, maybe. Out of all the videos on this list, I'm not 100% convinced that this one is like the most real, because from my opinion, I don't know that you can prove that it's necessarily like 100% real, that it's not a fake. But considering it walks very similar to other videos, and when we compare it to other videos on this list, it does line up. Now, if somebody was to create a fake Bigfoot video just for views, I highly doubt that they would do this much research. I mean, not saying it's impossible, but I find from my experience when people just want to become, you know, famous, and they wouldn't put that much detail into creating a fake, or because if they really were making fun of people who believed in Bigfoot, they wouldn't be putting that much detail into researching what a Bigfoot looks like. This next video is very interesting, and this is another skunk ape video that was taken in Mississippi. This video was titled, "I Think I Saw a Skunk Ape, Please Help," and was posted in 2013. And this is an interesting one because it isn't the typical Bigfoot video, and I'll show you why. I really enjoyed this video because I think it's unique in the fact that we can see that Bigfoot is actually doing something. Personally, I think it tearing up the tree is it could be possibly building tools or trying to create a shelter, which is very primate-like behavior. Orangutans are also seen to be doing this kind of behavior too by breaking branches and creating places to sleep and using branches as umbrellas during rainstorms. And what makes this video even more believable is based on the description. So in the description, this isn't his entire description, but this was part of the description. Quote, "I was out hunting hogs, just sitting in the part of the swamp I have heard them before. It is not too far from a road. I was wearing hunting camo and just sitting dead, still waiting for it to get dark, because that's when the hogs come out. I hear a noise behind a tree I was sitting on, and I thought it was hogs. And when I got around, I could not believe my two eyes." The first reason why I think it's a believable story is that it's highly believable. This person wasn't going out looking for Bigfoots, they were just out hunting when they discovered this creature. It seems like a pretty good reason to be out in the woods by yourself. Also, the poster mentions that they're wearing camo, so that adds more credibility to it because it's possible that the Bigfoot could have just not seen the human there. Number two is that it was taken in Mississippi, which is the second video on this list to be taken near the Mississippi, which, adds to like the skunk ape theory. It's the same geographical region, so I think that adds more credibility to it. Number three of why I think this video is pretty credible is that it isn't doing the typical walk of a Bigfoot and is actually doing something that a creature like this would do, in my opinion, using the forest around them to create tools or shelter. And honestly, it doesn't have the qualities that would make like a viral video or somebody trying to create a viral video. It's not a clear shot of a face, it's not running really fast, it's not super shaky, and it's not a super low quality camera. It's definitely some very strange footage. Now the next video on this list is from Provo Canyon in Utah. Now if you watched my previous video on this, you will know that I shared another video from this location that was very, very similar. In my last video, I showed a group of teenagers running away from a Bigfoot they were recording. Believe it or not, this is not the only time that a Bigfoot was caught in this canyon. So let's roll the clip. But I wanted to show this clip because it's very similar to the other one, but it is different. This one, it looks to be very large and has a very similar look to the previous video and makes it look like it's almost the same creature. So this could be the same Bigfoot because it's the same geographical region. Of course, we don't know the social structures of Bigfoot. Do they live in groups? Are they by themselves? How big is their range and territory? Those are all questions that we don't have the answers to. Now, the creature does look human-like, but if you look at the legs and arms, the muscles look very strong and it does throw rocks with a great force, which I'm not saying is impossible for humans to do, but if you look at the shoulder shape, it's very similar to the previous videos I mentioned. So if you look at the very first video with the white Bigfoot, and there's kind of this triangle shape to their shoulders and neck, that's something that humans don't really have. So it kind of has that very pronounced triangle. And for that reason, I think that it has a good chance of it being a Bigfoot. Now, if you Google Provo Canyon Bigfoot, you will also find many news reports that include Bigfoot videos, which I highly recommend checking out. I can't include them in this video because I think of like copyright. I think, these news channels would probably try to take my channel down because I've had a lot of issues like that. So sorry about that, homies. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my other video on the top 5 Bigfoot videos that are the best in my opinion. And make sure to subscribe for more paranormal videos. And bye for now.